Most people quit before they begin, or as they are hitting the first struggle, because their mind convinces them the challenge is too big, too hard, or not worth it. The Lotus Method is a 5-step system designed to tame your mind and turn resistance into momentum. Named after the flower that rises pure from the mud, this method transforms avoidance into action. The Lotus Method begins with layered breakdowns. Most people never start because the mountain seems too high. They stare at the summit and forget there is a path before them. So they freeze, procrastinate, and pretend. The truth is you do not conquer mountains, you take steps. That is layered breakdowns. Your task is not to finish. Your task is to begin. You do not write a novel. You begin with writing a sentence. You do not build your body. You begin with doing one push-up. The goal is to trick your brain into motion. Break the overwhelming into the absurdly simple. Each micro-step you complete triggers a small release of dopamine. That's momentum. Momentum kills hesitation. Musashi trained by mastering the smallest details of his craft, his grip, his breath, his footwork, not glory, foundation. He did not obsess over the duel. He obsessed over the draw. That's how you win battles before they begin, by conquering the invisible. So when your brain mentions to you that it is under too much pressure, do not argue. Shrink the battlefields. Give it a first move so small it cannot refuse. That is how you manipulate your resistance, not by fighting it head on, but by slicing it into pieces. You will never feel ready to do the hard thing. But if you can do the first layer, the rest becomes inevitable. Overcome resistance early. You think you need motivation. You do not. You need ignition, a spark, the tiniest action taken before your excuses can speak. Your brain often lies to you. It will say, wait until it's perfect. You're not in the mood to start. Try later. That is resistance whispering in your own voice. So you must act before you feel ready. That is overcoming resistance early. Reduce your task to one commitment. Not the run, just the shoes. Not the essay, just opening the document. Resistance hates simplicity. And when you begin, your mind gets stuck. Because of the Zeigarnik effect, which can be explained by the fact that your brain hates unfinished business. Start, and your mind will chase completion. This is how the warrior bypasses the trap of overthinking. Musashi said, "Perception is strong and sight is weak. In strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close, and to take a distance view of close things. Do not see the entire war. See the first move. When you force an early step, you awaken a chain reaction. Your blood warms, your thoughts sharpen, you override the noise. This is the moment of power, the first 3 seconds. You either act or you decay. Choose action, even if it's imperfect. Your body is waiting. Your brain is waiting. The moment you start, they will follow. Trigger reward. The modern brain is wired for comfort and validation. But success offers neither, not at first. Results are slow, progress is invisible, and without immediate feedback, your average mind retreats. Not because the task was too hard, but because it did not feel worth it. That is where you must trigger reward. You must weaponize your biology, condition your brain to crave the grind, reinforce every win, no matter how small. When you write 10 lines, mark the page. Meditate 5 minutes, close your eyes and feel the stillness. You must own it. You're teaching your brain to worship effort, not outcomes. To get addicted to showing up, not finishing. Musashi once said, "It may seem difficult at first, but everything is difficult at first." He was not talking about the sword. He was talking about your will. You must train your brain to release dopamine the moment you engage in the hard task. Burn this in. Reward is earned, not when you win, but when you begin. This is not softness, it is survival. If you do not feed the mind for doing hard tasks, it will starve and go searching for something easier. This is how people waste years. So burn it in. Small tasks deserve celebration, not fanfare or recognition. A nod, a clenched fist, a pause before moving on. That is how warriors last. That is how monks persist. That is how the disciplined endures when the world forgets to applaud. Discipline is not about denying reward. It is about controlling where and when you allow it. Make it serve your goals, not sabotage them. Unleash visualization. The future does not motivate, it numbs. Your brain cannot chase fog. If the outcome is unclear, it does not act. That is why you unleash visualization, to make the invisible inescapable. Lao Tzu wrote, "To see things in the seed, that is genius." You must see the seed, then grind like hell to grow it. Do not imagine applause. That is vanity. Imagine the weight of the task. Imagine your hands on the keyboard, cold and uncertain. Imagine the grind, the effort, the stumble, the doubt. Feel the sweat before you break the finish line. Smell the early morning stillness. Taste the edge of exhaustion. That's where your future begins. Musashi did not hope for victory. He envisioned every detail before it unfolded. Every step, strike, slip. He lived the duel before it started. Because the brain, when trained, cannot tell real from rehearsal, and that makes rehearsal a weapon. So weaponize it. Walk the battlefield in your mind. Rehearse the chaos. See yourself flinch, recover, and adapt. That is not fantasy. That is mental armor. Most avoid the hard parts in their imagination. That is cowardice disguised as hope. You must stare at the discomfort in the face long before it arrives. The unknown is fear's hiding place. Drag it into the light. Do not romanticize success. Rehearse the suffering. Rehearse the struggle. Then, when reality hits, you will bleed less. You won't need courage. You'll need muscle memory. You'll act, not think. That is how you win. Set micro challenges. You do not win the war in a day. You win it in 100 tiny scrimmages. That is setting micro-challenges. The art of testing yourself in ways that sharpen your edge. Your brain loves challenge, but only if it thinks it can win. So give it something it can dominate. 5 minutes to clean your space. 10 minutes to write. 1 cold shower. A sprint against the clock. Gamify your pain. Make it measurable, then beat it. The reason most people fail is boredom. They crave struggle, but fear failure. So you offer the brain something better. Controlled difficulty, a winnable war, a sharpened blade. Musashi trained by setting impossible rules for himself. Use a wooden sword. Fights 2 opponents at once. Blindfolded practice. He knew only pressure creates presence. Micro-challenges sharpen awareness. They train the nervous system to remain calm under fire. Every one you complete sends a message to your subconscious. I am capable. I am disciplined. I do what others refuse. And when it becomes a habit, your baseline rises. What once felt impossible now feels routine. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. You do not rise by accident. You rise through repetition, precision, pressure. The lotus blooms slowly, through layers, through storms, but it always blooms.